Okay, so Claude Code Community Meetups. We have 3 goals of every meetup we're here. Number 1, learn something. Number 2, have fun. Number 3, make a friend. And so, if you guys could achieve all 3 of those goals tonight, I think we'll have done something good in the meetup. And so that will kind of kick us off into the first part of the night. But before we do that, I wanted to just give a quick shout out to Station Austin. So we wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't for this wonderful event. That person is going to be there, and we're going to play somewhat of a kind of musical chairs to help you guys find that session if you're interested. So watch me read off the topics. Look for the volunteers. They will raise their sign, and then we will get there. Okay, so if you guys are interested in Claude Co-work, you will find Shane. He will be right here. Okay, if you guys are interested in Claude for operators.
Versus Opus 4.6, like they now offer. Well, so, to be honest, man, I don't, I'm trying to think if I've used it, how I've used it. I don't remember I've only used it like once or twice. I'm just calling it out to share that they're
on them one at a time. And so we very much value feedback from the community. And so once you guys kind of get home today, you're gonna see a feedback form come out. Please send feedback on the event, things that you liked, things you didn't like, things that could improve, things like that. That really helps us out dramatically in making these events better for y'all. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the next section of the night, which are demos. It's not easy to give a demo on stage in front of a couple hundred people. I've done it a few times. Sometimes I've done good, sometimes not so good. But here we are. And so, really happy to have 3 folks tonight that are really kind of amazing builders. We try to kind of really get a diversity of demos on stage so you guys can kind of see how people are using the tech, things like that, and maybe learn something. And so we're going to get our first demo of the night by Mr. Joshua Baer, who is actually the owner and CEO of the Capital Factory, and super excited for him. So we're getting him set up momentarily, and then we'll be right back, and then we'll get on Josh on. Thank you guys so much.
All right, this works. Welcome everybody. Excited to be here with all of you. Who is here at Capital Factory for the first time? Awesome. A lot of you, like half of you. Well, it's great. Welcome to Capital. This is Station Austin. We recently expanded our name. We've been Capital Factory for almost 20 years. And Station is our new nonprofit we launched, which is this space and a lot of the programming and education and other things that happen here. And there's a lot of things that happen here, but to me, one of the most important things, one of the first things we ever did when we made this place, when we started it, was host meetups like this. And it really is part of the soul of this place, is that every single night, there's like at least 2 or 3 different things like this going on. Most are not this big. This is like the really big one. We have another big one called Fiesta. When's Fiesta? Thursday nights? Tuesday nights. Next Tuesday. It's also really awesome and also this big. But there's, you heard about the first one, it was like 9 people. There's big rooms, small rooms. But every night there's lots of people getting together. And the thing that probably ties it all together is that pretty much nobody's paying to be here. Nobody's getting paid to be here. And everybody's really here just kind of like helping and learning from each other, and that's really awesome. And we think about like hundreds of people doing that every night, like from all these different topics. That's part of what makes this place super interesting, especially if you're like a builder, if you're trying to go start something. And so that's what this place is full of. It's been a lot of things over the years, but I describe it to my friends now as this is like a country club, just we build startups instead of playing golf. And that's like really what it's like. It's like this is where you come to find your people and be with your friends and build things. So that's what we do. And so, like many people, I've been spending most of this year talking to Claude. And I got a computer science degree when I was in college, and I technically, from like a really good school, technically know how to program, but never really programmed much. I hired all my friends and started building companies and have invested in lots of companies and lots of startups, but I haven't been programming much for a really long time. And Claude tells me that I program 3 years worth of code per day right now, which sounds crazy, but even if it's 100 days per day, I don't know, it's incredible. And it's way better than anything I ever did. And I'm like just rewriting everything we're doing here at Capital Factory, how everything works and how we work together. And it's been super, super fun. So when I thought about talking to y'all, and many of whom I think maybe are getting new to some of this, I really had one main thing I wanted to talk about, which has now led into a second, so we'll see how they go. But the first way to think about it is that if you're building something right now, if you're really building anything right now, it doesn't have to be an AI thing, anything, that who you're building it for has really changed over the past 6 months or a year. And in the same way that it did when the internet came out. And that really you're building it for two people. One is the person that's going to use it, but the other is for the AI that's going to go find it and build it. And that's the way a lot of things happen right now, is people go to their AI, they go to Claude, they go to ChatGPT, they go to something else, and they say, I want to go do this. I want to go build this. And they don't say, I want you to go use this tool, or I want you to go use that tool. The AI suggests to them what they should go use. And it says, hey, well, that's great. I think you should go host that on Cloudflare, or you should go set up a site on some other site place. And so that's what's really changing. And if the AI doesn't know that you're there, then it's never going to recommend you, right? It's kind of like when websites first came on the internet, and if the search engines couldn't see you, then you weren't going to get traffic. So think about it. You go into Claude, and you say, hey Claude, I want to book a flight to Philadelphia for the 4th of July. And what does Claude do? Like, it has to search something. It goes and searches the internet. It talks to things, but it prefers to talk to things that like know how to talk to it. And believe it or not, like the default posture of most websites on the internet is to say, you can't talk to me at all. Like if you're a bot, if you're an agent, right? It's like, no, 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 no. Which is kind of backwards, right? Like you want the bots to talk to you so that they can recommend you. And so, yeah, more and more companies are probably gonna start losing customers because the customers don't go to a search engine to find them. They go into an AI, and the AI won't find them. And so that was kind of this philosophy that I started working on. They're called Agents First. When if any of you were building around mobile, there was a similar thing that said mobile first, build for mobile first. And I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but you can read it at agentsfirst.dev. And one of the funny things about it is I built it, and at first I said, write me a manifesto, write me a blog post, write me a statement. And I did. And of course, at some point, it said, well, how Agents First is my thing. And it was like, it's not very Agents First at all. It's written for people. Like, it's just a blog post. And so then it gave me a bunch of suggestions on how to make it more friendly to agents. including turning it actually into an MCP server that you can talk to, and you can ask it about, is my website good or not, and it'll give you suggestions. And so now that's what it's become, is now it's not just a post that describes how to do it, it's actually it's an AI you can talk to that will look at your website and give you feedback about it and tell you how to make it better. And so I put in some just really popular websites into it, like Cloudflare. You'd expect them to be pretty good. And they got a 55 out of 100. I don't know how many of you know how grades work, but that's still an F. And there were a lot that were not, I mean, Notion's got some really cool AI stuff, but it turns out that the agents can't find it. It's not really easy for them to connect to it. Even OpenAI or people like that. So the actual thing is almost nobody is agents first right now. Like if you want to go build something, it's kind of like, it's the first like beginning of the internet and no one has a website. And you're like, I'm gonna go build the first website for this. And anybody on the internet is only gonna find that one website because it's the only one out there. And like you can do that for lots of things right now because nobody's doing it. Nobody can find their stuff. And that won't be that way forever, but it will be for a while, right? So you can go do that now. So I did that. And when I was building something for my team, I was getting ready for an offsite with some of the people I work really closely with, and I wanted to show them more about how I was using AI. And so I went to Claude and I said, Claude, I'm going to this offsite with my team, and I want to show them more about how I use AI and help me teach them. And it put together this, it knows I want to do everything agents first now. So it put together this very agents first tutor. And I got a good domain name, it's delegation.school. And what it does is it, through examples, like it doesn't just explain it, it makes you do it. It teaches you how to do things using AI and to do them agents first. And what makes it agents first is that it's almost like I wrote a book, but you don't read the book, you talk to the book with AI. And then it interviews you, and then it asks you to go do things, and it tells you to go build something, and then it talks to you about what you go in and build. But you graduate. Has anybody here graduated from delegation school? I know my chief of staff, David, has. Like, well, we got one more. All right, there's a couple people, but a bunch of people have. So delegation school, it's delegation.school. It takes, from what I've seen, about maybe like 2 hours for most people to go through it. And I really encourage you to check it out and to try it. Because if you're like really at the point where right now you're like using ChatGPT or Claude like Google, you're asking it questions and it's giving you better answers, like that's good, but that's not like really using AI. But you want to be like having it ask questions. You want it to think and answer the questions and decide what to go do. Then it's really doing things for you. And that's what this class at Delegation School is really designed to go do. So that's most of what I was going to say. I wanted to hopefully have some time if you had any questions. But I also went through and I just scored a whole bunch of other popular websites that you would think would be like very AI forward websites, lovable, right? Slack, Anthropic, and they all suck. Like they seriously, like they're like invisible. Like the other agents can't find them at all. There's a great company here in town. I think our next presenter might be here from Gauntlet. Gauntlet is this super cool school. It's like one of the most advanced AI tutoring schools in the country, in the world probably, teaching people how to think like this, how to be great with AI. And I was thinking before I got up here, that would be a great example, and someone else recommended it. And I went and I put in a search for Gauntlet, and they came up as a 10, like 10 out of 100. So I sent that to Tom, who's the marketing guy at Gauntlet. I wasn't even going to put agents first, and you could type in Gauntlet AI, and it would score it again. So that's your challenge, is go test Gauntlet tomorrow and see if he makes it any better than 10. My watch is kind of off, so I don't really know how to do it on time. But the one other thing I wanted to show you is I went in and I had been working on a website called Capital Thought, which is another another project. Capital Thought actually made Capital Factory. And I made this website, and it's very agents first. It's got like code on it and MCP. It's got an MCP server and other stuff. And so I was like, oh, I should run it on my own thing. So I ran Agents First on Capital Thought. This is like 10 minutes ago. And it came back, and it came with a 40 out of 100. Not really very good. And it's like, okay, you do some part of it well, but basically then it writes a check it as a cat, and tells me all these things that are wrong with it, and tells me here's what you need to do to make your site better. So one, ship the damn MCP server, add this other OAuth server connection thing, and publish a sitemap, and reconcile this claim. And so it gave me this whole report. And so then I said, right before I came up here, I said, I've got 10 minutes. Fix whatever you can on the website and rescore it. And I haven't looked at this since I got up on stage, so we'll see what it actually did. But it found the website, it was not in here. It cloned a copy of it out of GitHub onto my computer, apparently. And then, let's see, what did it do? Hopefully it's not posting in my passwords here. And then it deployed the sitemap live on Capital Thought. And then it went back. It says live and rescored, committed, shipped in time. Thank you. Added sitemap of the actual pages, deployed it to Capital Thought, verified live, committed and pushed, rescored. 45? We're only on 5? I'm kind of disappointed, Claude. And now I wanted to give you that little thing where it's like, how am I doing? I'm going, sucks. I was hoping for more than just +5. What I didn't do. It just didn't go build the whole MCP server. It's like, I need more time than that. But the thing about Claude is it always says everything's going to take like 2 years. It's like, this is going to take like 4 months of developer time, and like 15 minutes you come light it back and it's done. So this probably could have gotten all of it done too. But anyway, that's a good example of it. You can see how I took it and applied it to my own site, and it gave me it fixed the sitemap at least, made one thing better. But 2 things you might be able to take away from tonight, or from today. If you want to go to delegation school, it's free. Anyone can go do it. I think I've heard some people seem to think it's pretty helpful, and it'll teach you kind of like how to take your game up to the next level. I think that'd be really good for this group. And then Agents First. If you want to go, if you're building something, or if you're not even building something, you just have a website, and you're like, can anybody find it? You can go run it on this. And like typically the first 5 things to do are not like build an MCP server. It's like
participants there. So I built something.
I love Gauntlet.
Yeah, I built something kind of similar to this, but it looks in citations for all the popular like Perplexity, ChatGPT, what name you like, 50 of them. And is that part of this too, like looking at where your company would be cited in actual like queries to these LLMs, or is that?
No, that's super cool. I would love to link to that or connect to that. So just to reiterate what I think I heard him saying, is like he built something that's almost like ranks how am I showing up on all the different search engines. This is like optimizing it to try to make it in general good, but there he's like measuring, well, how good are you really showing up?
Hi, Grace. Also, Gauntlet
All right, we're gonna have one question from a non-Gauntlet person.
We're everywhere. But my question is, how do you
can come get
I guess, like, not weight it over, like, it seems like MCP is highly weighted in terms of.
Great question. So right now everything's MCP, and the first version I wrote was actually not Agents First, it was MCP First. And in thinking about it and going over it with the AI, we kind of came back to like, okay, wait a minute, like there's a lot of concerns about MCP. Is it going to be the thing that we have forever? No, it's really about making it designed for the agents first. And right now, that tends to be MCP, but maybe that'll be something else. And maybe then even you can do command line interfaces or other things too. And a lot of this is just discoverability. It's just like explaining what you're able to do and not telling them to go away. So really good question. It is not tied to MCP at all. MCP is just like the flavor of the day. All right, no gauntlets. All right.
You also, but when you showed the sites that had like popular sites below 55, Reddit was one of the lower ones, probably closer to 10 or
It's a 0 actually. Just to point that out, 0. Yeah.
But when we interact
going to give you a bullshit answer. I don't really know, but I'm going to guess what I think is actually happening. I believe what it does is it actually searches Google. It like types a search into Google, and it might try 10 different searches in Google. And it'll make up different searches that sound like good searches to find the thing you're looking for in Google, right? And that might return one of those other things. But it's not really searching those things directly, and it doesn't know how to talk directly to those things. Does that make sense? Yeah. I mean, one more really quick example. So I built another site last night. It was like one of those like, and this one was like, so this one is yeehaw.bot. And it's basically like do 512. It's like, it's like what's going on in Austin, and of course it has what's going on at Capital Factory too, and so, but it's like all these different things going on, and it looks like just an event listing, except it's all MCP first, all agent first. And so then last night, I literally built this yesterday. Last night I published the MCP server on the directories of the MCP servers, and overnight, the LLMs found it. There were over 10,000 crawler hits on it, of the LLMs crawling it to understand what it could do. And I'm still trying to really understand what happened, but I think I got about 2,000 hits of like real traffic of people using their LLMs to ask questions. No one's come to the website. They're using an LLM and they're asking like what's going on in Austin tonight, what jazz events are happening in Austin tonight. And it, like I said at the beginning, it's just because there's nothing out there to ask. And now the LLMs figure out like, oh, this thing knows it. I'm gonna go ask it. So, anyway, I'm out of time. Thanks so much.
What part am I looking at? And Jarvis knows to open up the camera, and there's a QR code on every aircraft part, scans the QR code, and immediately is speaking to me about what that part is, when was it last maintained, is it airworthy, what are the guidelines to repairing that thing. And I'll mention, before I make the next tool that I'm gonna show, is Jarvis only does a couple things, but he does them really well. So in this case, scanning parts. The next one is only using certain guidelines to respond. So when I asked Jarvis, how do we actually inspect a main landing gear actuator? Jarvis is not looking online on the internet. He's actually pulling from a very specific FAA corpus, a database, so that way it doesn't hallucinate, make sure that we're answering in the right way. And almost more important than this is what he doesn't do, what it doesn't do, which is if I ask Jarvis, how many of these are installed in our fleet? Or is this product safe to fly? Jarvis is not qualified at this stage to answer that. And so Jarvis will correctly say, I can't confirm against my sources. That's the demo part, but I find that the more interesting part is what Gauntlet has shown me. And this is the iceberg analogy of vibe coding is everything at the top of the iceberg. It's the easy stuff, it's the flashy stuff. But what we really need to understand if we're actually going to build robust apps that don't lead to fatalities in these industries is the harness. And the harness is what everyone should start thinking about. It's basically how do you turn this vibe-coded thing into very specific rules. And you don't need to get lost in what's here, but just understand that I have literally created this enclosure, this jacket around Jarvis so that it can't access the internet. It can literally only do 4 things. It can scan parts, it can tell me about those parts and their maintenance history, it can scan the FAA's database, and then it has memory asking about, what did we talk about yesterday? And if it doesn't have an answer, it will refuse to respond, or it will tell me it can't respond. And if it does, it'll tell me. And this is called groundedness. It's a very important concept in these high stress, high risk industries. 3 other tools if you're interested in going from vibe coding to software factory. First one is observation. So this is one of the first things, first week of Gauntlet we learned about this. Observability. Basically, I am able to see every time I talk to Jarvis what my question was and what its answer was. And I can go back and look. So if there was ever weird behavior, I can analyze why did that happen. That was observation. The next one is evals. This is where you actually decide what a good answer is. And a lot of people with their chatbots, assistants, haven't done this. You need to sit down and actually ask, what does a good response look like? You know, when I ask about the status of the landing gear actuator, what is a positive answer? How many words are there? And then also on top of this, I think this is maybe the thing for the second half of 2026 that we're going to see.
To keep it up, I don't know, let's go with at least 6 months or something like that. But the goal here is, you know, we want people to be able to very comfortably build AI that is your AI. The memory should flow through all embodiments, one day through your car, your phone, your laptop. But if you want it in your laptop locally, you can have it. So with that, thank you. Question?
Yeah, kind of one about it as well. Really fascinating. I maybe have 3 questions. Just answer maybe very short. One is, what is your reward function when you do the reinforcement learning? Right? This is one question. Second question is this persistent experience? It's a kind of procedural memory type of thing. Okay. Third is, how do you develop it? Do you use the Claude Code or something?
No, we have some really good research engineers that are very, very deep in this. We released 2 papers and we're releasing another 4 papers in the coming months. We are a very AI native company, so we do use a lot of agents in the loop to expedite the process, but it is half and a half, very brilliant humans with very good agents. The reward function, we have a partial heuristic model, partial RL. So it's a contextual temporal component. And on the reward function, we basically cater to user preferences. So the reward function is minimizing corrections at the time. So we look at the feedback that we get from a flywheel with a human in the loop. We look at the sentiment analysis of how they're communicating over time. And then we optimize the reward function to basically stay away from, how frustration-based language is one of the points for RL right now. Yes?
So I understand how I can wire this into my own AI apps, but if I just want to use pure Claude Code, how do I get you guys to
MCP.
So just tell me.
MCP, baby. You just literally go one line and you got it. And it works flawlessly. So, and if you want to build into your agents, we have a fully public API. And if you don't want to do either, we have a proxy, which is just a bump in the wire. You just put your LLM of choice for the proxy and you got memory. Yes?
So if everything is encrypted and where does the compute run? Like where everything that you explained, like where does it run? On my computer, on your computer?
Great question. Proprietor now. Basically, a part of the encryption runs locally, right? But another part of the encryption runs on storage because you have to kind of do some magic to the embeddings, because you could actually break down encryption through embedding. Not break down encryption, but guess what is in an embedding through the embeddings. So we do rotation of embeddings. That happens on cloud, but all the encryption happens locally on your device. So we actually just get pre-consolidated data that run on client. Yeah.
And then if it makes something up and puts something in there, you can still check it after the fact. It's like being able to cite is very important. And then your second question was, where do I have LLM as a judge? That's a concept, and that's in the evals portion. I have a Opus agent that looks at every answer from Jarvis and says, yeah, like this is correct.
Thank you.
Maybe 1 or 2, yeah.
So when we come to evals, recent legislation said that the higher scrutiny systems are the ones that honor the decisions. So I was just wondering, at Gauntlet, do you guys think about how your government agencies respond to these legislations, given that they are compulsory for them?
That is a great question. We also have a Gauntlet for America side that works specifically with the government. I will say we're taught at Gauntlet how to articulate these trade-offs, and so I don't have that specific answer for this project, but that's definitely something we're learning.
Can you really say something?
I won't hallucinate anything. All right, maybe one more question. Yeah, I don't know, Chris.
Oh, okay. Well, what's your favorite part of building Jarvis?
Honestly, it was just like the fact that I could do it in Claude Code with very little brain power and just like one-shot this, and then it did this whole thing, and like the SDK for the meta classes was so easy to set up. So honestly, it was just like the ease of doing it was so surprising. All right, everybody, thank you so much.
All right, guys, let's give it up for one more time.
Looking for startups, and they have a bunch of cool military traditions and stuff. One of them is when like a really important military general or someone comes and they want to honor someone, the general will have like a coin. It's like the general's coin or like the Secretary of the Army's coin, and they like slip a handshake and they give you this coin. It's like very official. It makes you feel really special. And so I've had a lot of them come through. I've gotten a bunch of coins. At one point, one of my friends said, "Hey Josh, you should make a Capital Factory coin. It's like when they give you one, you can like slip one back." And I thought that was going to make me a poser, but he assured me it would not be a poser. And they all think it was really cool. So mostly we just give them to the military people. But I want to give a big shout out to Damon and thank him for organizing like one of the biggest and best meetups here, which again is like the soul of this place. So I want to give him one of these coins. They all have the Capital Factory logo on that side. And the other side is that big robot over there. So you can only get one of these pretty much from me and usually just on stage. And so Damon, thank you so much for being such a great meetup organizer. There we go. And I'm really excited, so I'll let you guys do this. Thanks.
All right, guys, let's give it up one more time for Josh Baer, please. So just want to say before we get our next demo on, I know Josh was talking a lot about community. From a personal level, this building has been very, very important to me. I've not been in Austin for all that long, but immediately one of the first things I ever did in tech was come here, and immediately people started introducing themselves to me, talking to me, were curious about what I'm doing, things like that. So I'm not being asked to say this is just me. Don't be a stranger here. This is one of the best places to find community in the entire city of Austin. And with that, I'd like to introduce you guys to a new friend of mine. His name is Alex Gole. Gole. Ironically, Alex is also from Gauntlet AI. I promise you guys not everyone in the building is here from that thing, but Alex has a really cool demo called Jarvis, and we're excited to hear about it. So Alex, I'll pass it to you.
All right, everybody. Let's actually just start by everybody take a deep breath in. Let it go. Another one, a deep breath in. Let it go. If you knew me from my past profession, that would make more sense. But I do think as we go faster and faster with these things and we abstract ourselves and our thought and our code, it's important to slow down. That being said, my name is Alexander Gouye. I have 10 minutes here to show you what I built with Claude Code, in this case, Jarvis. I'll get more into that in a second, but for the
through move around Colbert, and then provide the LLM the pre-ranked data that it needs to take during English. Yes?
What functionality?
Yeah.
What functionality would this give that you couldn't get out of using LLM with Obsidian?
Yeah, so for example, I heard you earlier with Obsidian is, we consolidate all of the information. You don't ever need to check or think how you're writing your Obsidian or Markdown files. I don't care anymore about, like, if you were to go through my computer, it's like the messiest mess you'd ever see. Like, you would be disgusted, because at this point, I just don't care. I'll just search it, find it, and, kind of carry, that's one. The other one is the consolidated knowledge part, right? Over time, where it actually updates the knowledge based on preferences, etc., which can be achieved with Obsidian, don't get me wrong. There is a lot of really, really cool things out there, like Midbrain, really good Obsidian stacks. They take time, right? just kind of like, do you want to build a Ferrari and then drive it, or do you just want to drive the Ferrari? I think at that point it's very optional. Yes? No, yeah. Sorry.
I was going to ask, do you connect with like previous session members with Claude Codex, or is it just, I guess, starts when you connect with them?
No, we actually do, but there is a cap, right? So we help with like a cold start problem, but we can only go about 20 to 30 days backwards, which is basically what an agent has in logs of conversation that before it gets deprecated. So I hate the concept of anything memory that says it gets better over time as you use it. I'm like, that sounds like a horrible product. It's like, it sucks now, it'll be good tomorrow. So my goal was like, how is it good today and then really freaking awesome tomorrow? So we do a cold start kind of take on it. Yes?
Just curious, are you able to do different sessions with your persistent memory, or is it just an umbrella for everything? Can you silo off?
Great question. So the way it works is you create agents, like memory agents, think of them as buckets. Each one of them has an API key or multiple API keys, so you can split them completely. The MCP allows you to do a per project based setup or global. So if a project doesn't have a specific key, it just falls back to kind of like your global memory. Or you can do a per project and then that gets siloed to that specific agent. So if you are, like a consultant and you have different streams of work that you just don't want to get like polluted, you can just keep them completely compartmentalized.